This video is being recorded on Shrove Tuesday, which is the day traditionally when in Britain people have pancakes. Now, I myself am gluten-free, so I can't have a proper full pancake. So what I'm going to do instead is try and create a creation using minimal ingredients. I'm going to make it gluten-free. It's going to be sweet, and I'm probably going to curry flavor it as well, so it might be quite nice. The traditional English pancake would involve 8 ounces of flour, a pint of milk, and 2 eggs. 1 ounce, of course, being about 28 grams. So what you would do is shovel your ingredients into your blender, blend it up, and then pour bits of it onto your hot frying pan. You take a frying pan, you heat it up a lot, put a little bit of oil on it, pour the oil off. So you've only got a thin layer of oil on the pan, pour in a bit of your pancake mixture, make it nice and flat. And then once it's cooked on one side, flip it, do the other side, make sure that's done, and shove it on the plate. So very quick and easy to make a bit of food. But I don't have that kind of luxury, so I'm going to do something gluten-free and simpler. Yeah, I know, you can tell, I'm single, and that's what my kitchen currently looks like. Now, as far as cooking equipment is concerned, my electric hobs, both those ones and those ones there, and that one there, do not quite provide the right quantity of temperature that I will need to make pancakes, but the gas stove, being a 2 kilowatt device working on butane, actually would be, so I'll get that set up. Okay, now I've finally given the cat enough love and attention so he won't feel totally and utterly completely left out. At least for the moment. No, but here he is back to blag even more love and attention from me, the little bastard. Okay, right, that's graham flour, and I'm just going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon of xanthan gum, and I've got a 1/4 teaspoonful measure here, and I'm going to put half of that in with this. Then I'm going to mix all that up thoroughly in the bowl itself, so that the xanthan gum, which acts like a surrogate gluten, will mix in with the graham flour. Then I'm going to get my pan nice and hot. I've got another brand new gas cylinder inside the camping stove, so I'm going to get some nice plenty of heat, good quality heat on the pan, and we're going to cook it. Graham flour is what's used in onion bhajis. Okay, that's the yellow stuff in onion bhajis. So essentially it needs to be quite hot because you fry onion bhajis, deep fry them basically. So you've got to have that quality of heat on your pan to be able to get all the flour cooked properly. Any wild yeast which might be on the graham flour will create some carbon dioxide bubbles, so it's got to be soaked for about 15 minutes with the water in its batter. Then when you start to fry it, the air bubbles will start to expand and you'll get a bready effect. Okay, that's the dry ingredients mixed up. I'm just going to add the water to that and then let that start to settle. Whilst that's settling, I'm going to take the coffee grinder. Yep, that's right, it's a 1970s or 1960s coffee grinder, still perfectly functioning. And I'm going to put some rice into it. The purpose of putting rice into it is to make a rice flour made from uncooked rice. Then I'm going to take a small saucepan and I'm going to cook up the ground rice in the saucepan, and I'm going to create a curry sauce to go onto my graham flour pancake when it is done. So the end result will actually be really rather splendid because I'll have excellent flavor, good quality calories, the sweetness of the starch in the rice, and it may be quite curious. By the way, if ever you're stuck for something to thicken a sauce, just put some rice through a coffee grinder. That's all you need to do. You don't need to do anything else. You don't need to buy all kinds of expensive stuff. Just, you know, supermarket value rice put through a coffee grinder will do it. Okay, I've made that actually a bit too thick, so I'm going to add a bit more water to it. The purpose of letting it soak is to make sure all the water goes into all of the graham flour, so it's properly done and won't give you indigestion when you're eating it. But sometimes you can see the occasional little bubble, maybe on the surface. Some of those little bubbles could be because you've been beating it, and some of those little bubbles could be because you've got some yeast activity inside, natural wild yeast activity inside the gram flour itself. That's the rice. Not quite as fine as fingerprint powder, but basically getting there. Still a bit of crunch to it, but that'll do nicely. So that's going to go into our saucepan, and I'm going to add like herbs and spices to it. We'll see what happens. Curry powder, tikka curry powder, that'll do nicely. And a few other things. So that's tikka, garlic, small dash of paprika, and a teeny sprinkle of cumin, as well as some onion granules. Gonna mix that up with some water and cook it up. Now it's been left to sit for a little while. The gram flour and water with that touch of xanthan gum has really started to get thick and creamy just by letting it stand. Okay, you sift it, you mix it, but you let it stand. There's kind of like a streakiness to when I'm stirring it. You don't normally get that with gram flour and water. Okay, it's only really happens like that when you got a tiny bit of xanthan gum in there. That quarter teaspoon really makes all the difference in making something which is going to be a little more bready-like, because there's no gluten in a gluten-free flour, so you got to add a synthetic gluten. But that's looking good for when I put that onto the pan. Again, small bubbles still seem to be being created. Not many of them. This is not like a massive like live yeasty thing, but there's some quasi-rising effect happening there, which means that this is going to be good. Also, I'll quickly point out, it's a good idea to have plenty of gram flour in stock anyway for times when you think you may be running low on money, because gram flour, okay, it's cheap. Cheapest you can get is £2 for 2 kilograms, and if you can make pancakes from it, then you can add to it. I mean, all the herbs and spices I put into this stuff, I could have easily put into my gram flour pancake, as well as with chopped onions, chopped peppers, cabbage, leeks, basically you name it. You can turn your gram flour pancakes into something really special. Instead of just adding water, you could add a gravy to it, and add some real flavor. So if you've got like a bit of a Jamie Oliver inside you somewhere, you can probably make something really nice. Now I'm just waiting for this to get a little thicker before I start turning on the gas and getting my frying pan going, so that I can cook my gluten-free, spiced up Mardi Gras type Shrove Tuesday pancake type thing. Okay, the topping is thickened. That's well thick, and it's just rice and water that's made it like that, so that's fine. Got the first pancake going. The little holes you see, that's the air bubbles bursting, brought about by the fact that the wild yeast have been fermenting inside the gram flour. We got a pancake, we got topping. It's looking good. And this is the final result. Just see basically what it's like. We got basically a pancake with topping. I suppose it's like kind of like a pizza, but without the tomato and garlic and cheese. Let's see what it tastes like. Gosh, actually, that's quite good. What it needs is like a bit of coconut oil, and that will make it really nice. Happy Lent.